Sometimes I call themselves Gabby. They're not the Gabby. It's usually somebody else. Is that too loud?
Just one.
Oh, okay. On your journey in through the turnstiles, were you thinking very carefully about the leaders in your life? Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so was I, definitely. So let's look at Walt Disney's leadership qualities a little bit more specific. He did talk about those 4 C's that you have on your beautiful fashion lanyards, but we can also summarize Walt Disney's qualities of a leader in 5 other points that he didn't himself determine. This is what his people that he led and his teammates determined about him, what we know about him. So Walt Disney, first of all, was willing to adapt. A leader has to be flexible in case something happens that you did not expect to happen. You have to always be on your toes. Has anyone ever done a group project? That's everyone, right?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever had a negative experience with a group project? Yeah, they're rough, right? What are the kinds of things that go wrong? Sometimes people aren't communicating properly. Sometimes one person ends up kind of doing all the work.
Kingdom. We'll be stopping at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland. We'll also visit the Grand Canyon and make a trip back in time to the primeval world and the age of the dinosaurs before returning to Main Street Station. As we begin our journey, remember that for a safe trip, you need to stay seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your children.
Bienvenidos a bordo del Disneyland Railroad. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
Our first stop is New Orleans Square Station. But to get there, we need to pass through the wilds of Adventureland. It may seem peaceful through here, but trust me, it's a real jungle out there. Literally. So be on the lookout. You just never know what might be lurking along the rails. Just ahead of New Orleans Square Station. This station also serves Frontierland and Excursion. If you'll be leaving us here, please remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop. Then watch your step as you're getting off. For those of you continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a moment. This is New Orleans Square Station. New Orleans Square.
So when we go around the corner, when we see,
Toontown Depot, as always, please stay seated while the train is in motion, keeping your hands and arms, feet, and legs inside of the train. Make sure smaller passengers are sitting either on an adult's lap or on the inside of your row, safely away from the right side edge of the bench and opening of the train cars. Thank you.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids. We're now entering Splash Mountain, rumored to be the location of the one and only Laughing Place. If you look real hard, you just might find it. It's where the critters are celebrating a Zippity Doo-Dah Day. Speaking of critters, this place we're passing over is home to a whole bunch of them. Here in Critter Country, you can join Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Brer Rabbit, and Brer Bear on their fun-filled adventures.
You gotta go when you're on a pass. You gotta go on one kid's ride.
we went,
Alice in Wonderland's great. Peter Pan's great.
the last time we were here, we went on Peter Pan twice, because it's Amber's favorite ride.
I, of course, like
The construction ride. I love
As we steam past Hungry Bear Restaurant, the last outpost of these parts, we're now joining up with the Rivers of America and entering the frontier as it looked more than a century and a half
Train
ago.
ride, one of my
This
favorite
is my
rides.
favorite part of the journey. Around every bend, there's natural beauty as far as the eye can see.
I'll have you take a half bottle of Senate.
I would step outside. Any engineer that was with me, I would say, oh my God, take stock of the train. Whatever it is. No, it is not a train.
No, this isn't Jungle Cruise. This is,
Sharing his story with those in the Great River Valley below.
Terry's working for Disney. Yeah. I thought he was a contractor, but I think he's an actual, because he's doing R&D, and we went on Guardians of the
People
Galaxy
like you have been riding these rails since the 1800s, traveling through nature's wonderland in a matter of days, rather than the months it used to take by new or stage coach. Steam power not only fuels these iron horses, but the dreams of a whole new generation once west into this great frontier. Of course, some of those dreams, and the stories that went with them, were pretty darn wild and downright unbelievable. Like on Big Thunder Mountain, where I hear that mysterious spirits have grabbed hold of those mining trains and turned them into the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Please make sure the little ones are sitting all the way down, please. All the way down. Sitting all the way down, please. Thank you.
We're now steaming ahead towards Toontown Depot. That's going to be your stop to Toontown, where you can ride Gadget Slow Coaster as Roger Rabbit's Park Spin. You can also visit the home of Mickey and Minnie Mouse there. There's also your closest stop from Fantasyland, which is home to the Matterhorn bobsled, Cedar and Flight, and of course it's a small world. As always, make sure you stay in your seats until the train comes to a complete stop past this station. Thank you.
This tunnel signals our transition from the frontier to another kind of gear. The ones you'll find on Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Our next stop is Toontown Depot, the official train station for Mickey's Toontown. Parking home where Mickey, Minnie, and all their friends live. Toontown Depot is also the gateway to Fantasyland, where you'll find many of your favorite Disney animated characters and stories. If you're leaving us here, please wait until the train comes to a full stop. Remember your personal belongings, then step carefully from the train. Have fun, and say hi to Mickey and Minnie for me. Those of you continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a minute.
Also, just arrived at the train station here at Fantasyland Theater, where we host Mickey and the Magical Map Today. First performance is at 12:30. Coming up to Mickey, if you want to watch the show, that'll be your time.
I know. They have now started making parking garages just for strollers because they're so big.
They make what?
Parking garages.
Once again, next stop's going to be at Tomorrowland train station. Please remain seated. We are about to be moving.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the Disneyland Railroad. For a safe ride, remember to stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Y bienvenidos a bordo. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
As we leave Toontown Depot, we get a real nice view of the happiest land of them all, Fantasyland. You can see people stepping onto It's a Small World just below us. And, off in the distance, majestic Matterhorn Mountain. Steaming forward into the future to a land inspired by visions of tomorrow, both practical and imagined. Here you'll find rocket ships and star speeders, submarines and astroblasters, and, if you look overhead, maybe a glimpse of a Mark 7 monorail. This is the latest version of the first daily operating monorail system in the entire Western Hemisphere, gliding above Disneyland since 1959. Below the monorail, and us, are the fun-filled roadways of the Autopia. Drivers of all ages can get behind the wheel of these cars. No experience or license required. If you're into soaring spaceships or doing battle with evil empires and emperors, Tomorrowland is definitely the place for you. Speaking of which, we're pulling into Tomorrowland Station right now. If you're leaving us here, just stay seated until we come to a full stop. Gather your belongings, including lightsabers and astroblasters, and step carefully from the train. Thanks, and have fun in the future. For the rest of you, just sit tight. We'll be on our way again in just a minute.
So it's going to be your stop for Space Mountain, Star Tours, Buzz Lightyear, Astro Blasters, the Monorail is here as well, and just below that, the Finding Nemo submarine voyage. Make sure you stay in your seat until the train comes to a complete stop. Thank you. To the Grand Canyon and the primeval world. While traveling through the tunnel up ahead, please no flash photography. You may take pictures, but as a courtesy to your fellow passengers, we ask that you please check and make sure the flash is off first. Thank you.
To those who have just come aboard, welcome. The next leg of our journey will take us from the fantastic world of the future to the breathtaking beauty of nature's own design, the Grand Canyon. For your safety, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Watch your children and no flash photography.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Por favor, no tome fotografías con flash.
Canyon as we know it today. But it wasn't always this way. Now, let's travel back in time, way back in time, to the fantastic past of the primeval world, land of the dinosaurs. Returning to our own time and to Main Street Station, gateway to Disneyland. If you're leaving us here, stay in your seat until we come to a full stop. Remember to gather all your personal belongings and step carefully from the train. I'd especially like to thank those of you who've been with me for the Grand Circle Tour of Disneyland. We hope you enjoyed your travels with us and that you'll come back to ride with us again real soon. For those of you staying with us, we'll be on our way again in just a few minutes. This is Main Street Station, Main Street, USA. Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. We're embarking on a grand circle tour of the Magic Kingdom. We'll be stopping at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland. We'll also visit the Grand Canyon and make a trip back in time to the primeval world and the age of the dinosaurs before returning to Main Street Station. As we begin our journey, remember that for a safe trip, you need to stay seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your children.
Bienvenidos a bordo del Disneyland Railroad. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
Our first stop is New Orleans Square Station. But to get there, we need to pass through the wilds of Adventureland. It may seem peaceful through here, but trust me, it's a real jungle out there. Literally. So be on the lookout. You just never know what might be lurking along the rails. Just ahead is New Orleans Square Station. This station also serves Frontierland and Critter Country. If you'll be leaving us here, please remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop. Then watch your step as you're getting off. For those of you continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a moment. This is New Orleans Square Station, New Orleans Square.
Please remain seated till the train comes to a full and complete stop. Thank you. For those of you just joining us, welcome aboard Excursion 3 on the Disneyland Railroad. Our next stop coming up is Toontown Depot. Please remember to remain seated at all times while the train's in motion. Keep all hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And if you have little ones and their feet do not touch the floor, make sure they're sitting on your lap and away from the open areas on the sides of the train, please. We'll get going here in just a little bit. The train's just taking out a little bit of water. As soon as we get all filled up, we'll be able to depart. So please remain seated at all times. Train can move at any moment.
What? Do you want to go walk back? You have to sit up here. No, I need a pool. I need a high. If you go on the toilet over there, then we have to get off the choo-choo train. I don't want you to poop. Okay, then let's go into the bathroom. Because we're going to be on this train for a while, and your diapers are back there. Okay? You want to go on this train when we get off. Charlotte?
All right, see ya.
We're going.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
We're now entering Splash Mountain, rumored to be the location of the one and only Laughing Place. If you look real hard, you just might find it. It's where the critters are celebrating a zippity-doo-dah day. Speaking of critters, this place we're passing over is home to a whole bunch of them. Here in Critter Country, you can join Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Brer Rabbit, and Brer Bear on their fun-filled adventures. As we steam past Hungry Bear Restaurant, the last outpost in these parts, we're now joining up with the rivers of America and entering the frontier as it looked more than a century and a half ago. This is my favorite part of the journey. Around every bend, there's natural beauty as far as the eye can see. Indian shaman sharing his stories with those in the great river valley below. People like you have been riding these rails since the 1800s, traveling through nature's wonderland in a matter of days, rather than the months it used to take by mule or stagecoach. Steam power not only fueled these iron horses, but the dreams of a whole new generation as it moved west into this great frontier. Of course, some of those dreams, and the stories that went with them, were pretty darn wild and downright unbelievable, like on Big Thunder Mountain, where I hear that mysterious spirits have grabbed hold of those mining trains and turned them into the wildest ride in the wilderness. Signals our transition from the frontier to another kind of pier, the ones you'll find on Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Our next stop is Toontown Depot, official train station for Mickey's Toontown, the cartoon home where Mickey, Minnie, and all their friends live. Toontown Depot is also the gateway to Fantasyland, where you'll find many of your favorite Disney animated characters and stories. If you're leaving us here, please wait until the train comes to a full stop. Remember your personal belongings, then step carefully from the train. Have fun, and say hi to Mickey and Minnie for me. Those of you continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a moment.
This is your stop for Monorail. It's a small world. Roger and cartoon spin for your fancy flight and all its classics. Does have Mickey the Magical Map playing over there at the Fantasyland Theater. Next show is going to be at 1:35. 1:35 will be the next showing over there at the Fantasyland Theater. Please remain seated till the train comes to a full stop. Thanks for riding with us. Enjoy the rest of your day. Just join us for Excursion 3. Our next stop is Tomorrowland Station. Please remain seated at all times. Keep all hands on your side of the train. If you have little ones, make sure they're sitting on your lap. No wait for open areas on the sides of the train, please. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the Disneyland Railroad.
Bienvenidos a bordo. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
As we leave Toontown Depot, we get a real nice view of the happiest land of them all, Fantasyland. You can see people stepping onto It's a Small World just below us. And, off in the distance, majestic Matterhorn Mountain. We're now steaming forward into the future to a land inspired.
Please make sure your little ones are seated at all times. Little ones need to be seated at all times, please.
Rocket ships and star speeders, submarines and astroblasters. And if you look overhead,
Please make sure all the Disneyland representatives seated on the fourth floor,
the
please.
latest version of the first daily operating.
Don't need on the for the train and primeval world.
Grand Circle Tour of Disneyland. We hope you enjoyed your travels with us and that you'll come back to ride with us again real soon. For those of you staying with us, we'll be on our way again in just a few minutes.
Away from the large train opening. Our next stop will be New Orleans Square.
Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. We're embarking on a Grand Circle tour of the Magic Kingdom. We'll be stopping at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland. We'll also visit the Grand Canyon and make a trip back in time to the primeval world and the age of the dinosaurs before returning to Main Street Station. As we begin our journey, remember that for a safe trip, you need to stay seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your children.
Bienvenidos a bordo del Disneyland Railroad. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
Our first stop is New Orleans Square Station. But to get there, we need to pass through the wilds of Adventureland. It may seem peaceful through here, but trust me, it's a real jungle out there. Literally. So be on the lookout. You just never know what might be lurking along the rails. Just ahead is New Orleans Square Station. This station also serves Frontierland and Critter Country. If you'll be leaving us here, please remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop. Then watch your step as you're getting on. For those of you continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a moment. This is New
We'll also be arrested later on tonight for either of the performances of Phantasmic right here at the Rivers of America at 9 o'clock and 30. So actually, please stay fully seated until the train comes to a complete stop. You'll be arrested for all the passengers at this time until the country and New Orleans Square. Make sure you're fully seated in your own station. Also, parents and guardians and children who cannot use the club if the child will be the seated. Oh, Lord! Plus, the RC on this, they'll be away from the large train opening. Oh! Our next stop is Toontown Depot. Oh, boy.
For those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids inside the train. And please watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren.
Hi everybody, welcome aboard. For your safety, please remain seated, keeping your arms and feet and legs inside the train. Supervise your children. If there are any children in your group, do not touch their floor when they're seated on the edge of the avenue. Our next stop is Toontown.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Please watch your kids. We'll be resuming our trip in just a moment. This is New Orleans Square Station, New Orleans Square.
And please, friends, remain seated until we come to a full stop before you stand up and depart. This is your gateway to Adventureland, Frontierland, Fairy Country, New Orleans. Welcome everyone. Please, for your safety, remain seated. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the car. And supervise your small children. Please make sure they're sitting down at all times, either on your lap or on the bench beside you, and away from that large center opening. Our next stop is Mickey's Toontown Depot. This is your gateway to Fantasyland. It's also your one and only stop for It's a Small World, as well as Mickey's Toontown. Looks like our engineers are taking out some water. Fred Gurley was a Santa Fe Railroad CEO in the 1950s. He was also a close friend of Walt Disney. The engine itself was manufactured at the Baldwin Locomotive Works in Philadelphia way back in 1894. So this steam engine is turning 124 years old this year. It's been with us, circling Disneyland, since 1958. Yeah, Walt Disney spending about $1,200 on this engine. They worked on a sugarcane plantation, and when he retired, left the field to rot. Walt found it for $1,200 and then invested $37,000 in fixing it, the boiler. And if you know anything about steam engines, the boiler is the most important part. All right, we're on our way. Next stop is Toontown Depot.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train.
Dehydrated water. Dehydrated water. Child is either seated securely on your lap, or if you're on a seat on a bench, you have to get away from the large opening. Our next up is the Disneyland Railroad.
Young man, leg inside, please. To those just joining,
Leg inside the train, please. Thank you. Inside the train.
to ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms.
Once again, please remain seated until the train makes a full and complete stop. Thank you. That is the train at all times. Parents, please supervise smaller passengers, ensuring that they remain fully seated, flat on their bottoms, or on the lap of an adult, away from the large train opening.
Look real hard, you just might find it. It's where the critters are celebrating a zippity doo-dah day. Speaking of critters, as we steam past Hungry Bear Restaurant, the last outpost in these parts, we're now joining up with the Rivers of America and entering the frontier as it looked more than a century and a half ago. This is my favorite part of the journey. Around every bend, there's natural beauty as far as the eye can see. There is a revered Indian shaman sharing his stories with those in the Great River Valley below. People like you have been riding these rails since the 1800s, traveling through nature's wonderland in a matter of days, rather than the months it used to take by mule or stagecoach. Steam power not only fueled these iron horses, but the dreams of a whole new generation as it moved west into this great frontier. Of course, Continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a moment. This is Toontown Depot, Mickey's Toontown.
Welcome aboard. Please remain seated at all times. Keeping your hands on screen legs inside the train. Placing smaller passengers towards the center of the seats away from train opening. The next stop is Tomorrowland.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the Disneyland Railroad. On a safe ride, remember to stay seated.
Welcome aboard the Excursion 3 on the Disneyland Railroad. While on this, please remain seated. Your hands are between and 19 by the train at all times. And we are pleased to provide children seating 12 of the way from our train opening for on the line. Our next stop is Tomorrowland.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the Disneyland Railroad. For a safe ride, remember to stay seated. We'll be resuming our trip in just a moment.
All right, folks, please remain seated as the train comes to a full stop. All right, folks, welcome aboard the Holiday 4. Please remain seated. Once again, for your safety, remain seated at all times, and speed on lights inside the train. Parents, please supervise your children to keep them away from the train openings. Next stop, Tomorrowland Station.
1. Thanks for joining us on the Disneyland Railroad. For a safe ride, remember to stay seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. For your safety, please remain seated, keeping your hands on seat legs inside the train at all times. Please also keep children seated away from train openings. Our next stop is Main Street. En route to Main Street, we'll be going through the Grand Canyon and the Primeval World. Feel free to take as many pictures as you'd like. Just turn off your flash photography or video lighting.
Disneyland Railroad, we are departing for Main Street Station. As always, please stay seated, keeping hands and arms seated like inside of the train while it's moving. If you got a little one, make sure they're sitting away from the right side opening of your train car on the inside of the row and away from the edge of the bench. On the way to Main Street, we're going to visit the Grand Canyon, the primeval world, while the tunnel ahead. Please don't flash photography as a credit to your fellow passengers. Thank you.
Heading to the Grand Canyon. Please don't flash photography or lighting of any kind once we enter the tunnel. Use any light up toys or light up gears you may have. Please make sure they are turned off. Thank you.
To those who have just come aboard, welcome. The next leg of our journey will take us to a fantastic world.
I thought it said, alright.
Disneyland is truly an American original. Since its opening all along, you might as well see hundreds of millions of guests.
Oh my god, you really can't. Okay, wait, I'm gonna put my wallet in my bag so you guys can have that. Money for the board. Money for the board. I know that was just a dime. Oh, alright. I think that's it.
Make sure you have just a
It's not bumper cars.
We're still gonna do that though.
Yeah, we are. I don't think anyone follows that rule. There's the train. Okay, the train does take you everywhere.
Yeah, well, we just did the monorail, so I'm good.
You don't want to do the really cool little small train? I mean, it's only taking you to two places.
I'd rather do
Alright.
Yeah, cars and Space Mountain, we'll do Matterhorn later tonight, right?
Yeah.
I'll wait on Space Mountain. I don't want to be going on the fastest road just in the dark.
Wait, is that actually to the right of the monorail?
Oh, Space Mountain. Oh, it is? Holy shoot, now we're bending that way.
And now we're right
What do we hang on to stop that?
Kingdom of them all.
I got mine.
Yeah,
from a trip around Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom. Passengers will stand by to board.
Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. For your safety, please remain seated at all times, keeping hands, feet, and legs inside of the train. Please supervise your children and keep them away from the train opening. Thank you. Our next stop will be the East Toontown Depot for Toontown and Fantasyland.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas.
The Disneyland Limited, now arriving from a trip around Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom. Passengers will stand by to board. Your attention, please. The Disneyland Limited, now leaving for a complete trip around Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom through the Grand Canyon and Finding World. Stop at Tomorrowland and last call.
For those of you just joining us, welcome aboard the Excursion 3 on the Disneyland Railroad. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train at all times. And parents, please keep providing children seating small ones away from large train openings or on your lap. Our next stop is the Toontown Depot.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids inside the train. And please watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, Permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños.
Arriving from a trip around Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom. Passengers will stand by to board.
Welcome to the Bayou, folks. This is the Washington Square Station.
Disneyland Railroad. For your safety, please remain seated. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train, and keep little children whose feet don't touch the floor away from the big train opening. Our next scheduled stop will be Mickey's Toontown Depot, your gateway to Fantasyland.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside our hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos.
Also, that window right in front of the station is that if you Marsh, use your mind. So the reason we were down for 1 year, 6 months, and 18 days was actually the stretch of track between here and Mickey's Toontown we call Rivers of America. Without giving too much away, hope you like it as much as I do, because it was worth the wait.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños.
If you look real hard, you just might find it. It's where the critters are celebrating a zippity-doo-dah day.
Unfortunately, you can see Splash Mountain.
Prepare on their fun-filled adventures.
If there's somebody riding the train, they have trouble all the time. So
As we steam past Hungry Bear Restaurant, last outpost in these parts, we're now joining up with the Rivers of America and entering the frontiers that looked more than a century and a half ago. This is my favorite part of the journey. Around every bend, there's natural beauty as far as the eye can see.
no, this track is all new. Right. Exactly. Because we never got to see it. The Indian village was here. So see, they moved all of this over there.
There is the revered Indian shaman, sharing his stories with those in the Great River Valley below.
All brand new. No, but they built all of this to move it for Star Wars. So this is all newly rebuilt.
People like you have been riding these rails since the 1800s, traveling through nature's wonderland in a matter of days, rather than the months it used to take by mule or stagecoach.
Well, no need to close it early. So you can enjoy Go Gadget Coaster or Roger Rabbit cartoon and get busy. Tell me about it after. Also just up for Fantasyland, which includes that limited to Snow White's Scary Adventure, Peter Pan's Flight, Double Fairy Journey, Peter's Carousel, and Matterhorn Bobsleigh. Most of you saw they are still feeding for the perfect time. Still feeding for Mickey and Magical Mountain next showing here at the Fantasyland Theater. As always, remain seated, please. Make sure children are sitting down. Train is still in motion, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Wait for it now.
So what's the show about?
Depot, we get a real nice view of the happiest land of them all, Fantasyland. You can see people stepping onto It's a Small World just below us. And, off in the distance, majestic Matterhorn Mountain. Steaming forward into the future to a land inspired by visions of tomorrow, both practical and imagined. Here you'll find rocket ships and star steamers, submarines and astroblasters, and, if you look overhead, maybe a glimpse of a March 7 monorail. This is the latest version of the first daily operating monorail system in the entire Western Hemisphere, gliding above Disneyland since 1959. Below the monorail, and us, are the fun-filled roadways of the Autopia. Drivers of all ages can get behind the wheel of these cars. No experience or license required. If you're into soaring spaceships or doing battle with evil empires and emperors, Tomorrowland is definitely the place for you.
Indeed, tomorrow is quickly approaching in a few hours. Okay, never mind. I promise that's the second to the last one. So Tomorrowland Station is quickly approaching and just stop for Autopia, Space Mountain, Star Tours, and the Monorail. That's right, the only stop for the Monorail inside Disneyland Park, right here, right above the submarine voyage attraction. Any Star Wars fans aboard? That beautiful round building over there, the entire bottom floor is called Star Wars Launch Bay. You can see and purchase some amazing memorabilia and merchandise, and even see the architectural model of the upcoming Star Wars Galaxy.
Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad Square Station. But to get there, we need to pass through the wilds of Adventureland. It may seem peaceful through here, but trust me, it's a real jungle out there. Literally. So be on the lookout. You just never know what might be lurking along the rails.
That's the one our first time. That's the one our first time.
Just ahead is the Gurley Square Station, Rare Rabbit and Rare Bear on their fun-filled adventures.
Alright, let's get them good. Everyone who wants to wave, we're going to wave at the marked wing. Oh, here we go. And they fell asleep at the whistle. Yeah, they did. Okay, everybody wave, wave. There it is. Bye, tell them bye.
Entering the Frontierland ago. This is my favorite part of the journey. Around every bend, there's natural beauty as far as the eye can see. There is the revered Indian shaman, sharing his stories with those in the Great River Valley below. People like you have been riding these rails since the 1800s, traveling through nature's wonderland in a matter of days, rather than the months it used to take by mule or stagecoach. Steam power not only fueled these iron horses, but the dreams of a whole new generation as it moved west into this great frontier. Of course, some of those dreams and the stories that went with them were pretty darn wild and downright unbelievable, like on Big Thunder Mountain, where I hear that mysterious spirits have grabbed hold of those mining trains and turned them into the wildest ride in the wilderness. Where you'll find many of your favorite Disney animated characters and stories. If you're leaving us here, please wait until the train comes to a full stop. Remember your personal belongings, please stop parking from the train. Have fun, and say hi to making your name. We'll resume our trip in just a moment.
Let's go, Julian. Go, 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 go. Thank you.
To those who just joined us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, remember to stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please, watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
Uh-oh. Did you folks hear that? Sounds to me like we've reached the wilds of Adventureland, where you just might run into a lot of savage critters out there, including lions and tigers and tiki birds. Everybody best be on the lookout. You never know just what may show up. We're approaching our first stop, New Orleans Square Station. This station serves Frontierland, New Orleans Square, and Critter Country. If you'll be leaving us here, please remain seated till the train comes to a complete stop. Then watch your step while getting off. Have a good time in the Frontier, you hear? For those of you continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a moment. This is New Orleans Square. To those who just joined us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, remember to stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please, watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
We're now entering Splash Mountain, where every day is a zippity-doo-dah day. If you look real hard, you might just find your laughing place. We're now passing over Critter Country, where Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Brer Rabbit, and Brer Bear make their homes and embark on fun-filled adventures. Although this land was made for critters, human-type folks are always invited to stop in to visit a spell. We're traveling along the rivers of America and into the American frontier as it looked more than a century ago. This area is so rich with natural beauty and wildlife, you can see why the early settlers were inspired to move west. You're seeing this view just like many of them did, from the comfort of a genuine steam-powered train. When these iron horses first started crisscrossing the country in the 1800s, the time it took folks to reach the West dropped from months to a matter of days. Why, steam power not only fueled the trains, but the dreams of a whole new generation as they settled this great frontier. Say, have you ever wondered what it would be like to visit the cartoon town where Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy live? Well, in just a few moments you can find out for yourself, because our next stop is Toontown Depot, official train station for Mickey's Toontown. This is also the nearest stop to Fantasyland, where you'll find many of your favorite Disney animated characters and stories. If you'll be leaving us here, please wait until the train comes to a full stop. Remember your personal belongings, then step carefully from the train. Y'all have fun and say hi to Mickey for me. For those of you continuing on with us, we'll be resuming our trip in just a moment. This is Toontown Depot. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the Disneyland Railroad.